Come and fly away with me.
Hi everyone, guess what we're doing today? The weather is not great today.
But that's not going to dampen our spirits.
We're going to the airport, and believe it or not, it's raining.
But it doesn't matter.
But the island needs it, so perfect. We're just going down the steps here, so we've got to be careful. This is the kind of a day when the Canarians realise that they've got auto wipers. Can you believe it? The wipers are on full.
Yeah, but it won't last long. Look how bright the sky is.
Yep.
Told you the rain wouldn't last long. The sun is out now.
Come and fly away with me. Come and fly away with me. Come and fly away with me. Come and fly away with me.
It's important for us to be able to compost all of this natural material that's on the sites because the compost will enrich the ground. So this is one of the methods that I've used before. It's a crop circle or a banana circle where you basically have 2 meters of a circle. You dig a meter deep and you put the clay that you're taking out of the center up towards the sides, and you use the center as a composting pit. So we line them with cardboard, and then you put all of the natural materials in onto the top of it. Don't use any plastics or anything like that. It's kind of important to keep it moist as well. And the hardest part of it, I think, initially, the hardest part is digging it out. So here's where we started to dig it out. We had everything sort of going in the right direction. We had all our measurements done. We had everything that we wanted in relation to the location of it, what we were going to grow, and then there's a problem. We've hit a problem. Rock. There's terraces all over the island, and I'm not 100% sure as to how they were formed. They're man-made, but I'm thinking that they got to a certain level with fill that had a lot of rock in it. Small rock, not huge big ones, and then put the topsoil on the top of it. Makes sense, really. Makes a lot of sense. But I'm using a pick and a hoe. Now, we could barely get in here ourselves last week. So I know some of you are probably saying, and I know myself, a mini digger. Be great. So some of it has to be done by hand. We will use a mini digger up on the top terrace once we clear the terrain a little bit and we can see what it is that we're doing. But for the moment, this is to get rid of the compost, to make compost, to get rid of all of the growth that's around here. So it's an essential part of what it is that we're trying to do. Anyway, it's not a metre deep. It's not going to be a metre deep. It's not going to be any deeper than that, purely because it's just too hard. So it's a good size pit. It will generate a lot of compost, I've no doubt about that. The minerals and everything out of the rock will probably be beneficial as well. So, pit is dug. That's as deep as it's going to be. And now we're going to start filling it. So there was a small bit of a method behind the madness of putting that there. Digging the pit there. Putting some of the cactus here. Some of the pieces off of the strimmer over here. More cactus over here. So I'll start filling it and kind of layer it. So I'm going to put some of this here in first on the very bottom because it's woody, and I think that it's best on the bottom because it will be slower to decompose, and the wood has whatever is in it that composts well. So I'll put that on the bottom. I'll layer on some of the strimming material and some of the cactus. Now I know that with the cactus, because the people on the island here are brilliant. They've been living here all their lives, and they just know. Cactus, if you leave it in one complete piece, it takes a long time for it to decompose. If you put a chop mark through it, it composes a little bit quicker, and if you chop it to pieces, it decomposes in like 2 months. And I'm going to put the stronger rooty parts of it on the bottom, along with the wood from the palm trees, and then as I'm going up, I'll chop some of the softer stuff, let it decompose quicker, and some of the cane as well. So I'll mix it all up, and hopefully it'll be a good recipe for good compost, hopefully. This is the stair down that we're using at the moment. Obviously we're going to have to do something a little bit better with it. We're going to keep those succulents going and maybe plant another few things in the gaps in the walls. But as another part of the process of decomposing some of this matter, along the front of the wall, along there, I'm going to dig out a trench all the way along and make a kind of not so much a very high raised bed, because I don't want to lose any of the stone really, but sort of dig it out, put a load of compost into it, and we can grow things along there. Now the one thing that I do know about this, and I learned this the hard way, as you do with everything or most things with gardening here, in these rocks live lizards. It's a natural part of the island, but those lizards love to eat what you grow. And I've often seen it where I would grow something and I would be absolutely thrilled. Oh, look at the way that's after growing. And you come out in the morning and the half of it's gone, and you think, what happened there? Did a bug eat it? Pigeons, birds, lizards. They will eat anything.
We're at the land today and we're going to get a little bit more work done and show you guys what we have achieved.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful day here, as you can see. The sun is shining, so it's nice.
Sunny Gran Canaria.
Yeah, just to explain a bit of what we've done the banana circles, or the crop circles, so they're ready to go. They're fully loaded with stuff to decompose, and we've done 2 of them, and we've got a lot of work done in the lower terrace, which we're really happy about, and it's looking good.
But already the weeds are starting to grow back. It doesn't take too long. We only put them up a couple of days ago and already they're starting to come back. We want to try and achieve getting rid of them without using any chemicals or any chemicals or we just don't want any to be putting anything like that on the land. We need to keep it as natural as possible.
Yeah, and we want to try and compost as much as we can, so that is the goal. We don't want to be a sort of slashing it and dumping it. We want the compost. When we looked at this space as a camper van, we knew that there were certain things that we needed to put into it. Essential things. A kitchen area, an area for storing your clothes and food, and a toilet facility. Another thing that we really wanted was for the bed space to be as big as we could possibly make it, because we felt that it would be more comfortable that way. With the main entrance into the camper van coming through the back doors, we felt that putting a permanent bed in there wouldn't really suit us. We also wanted a seating area and somewhere where we could eat comfortably during the day. And this is where it all became a game of millimetres. So we planned it out and knew what we wanted, and then the toolboxes come out. The plan was to put the kitchen area here, so I started to take this apart. With its previous life being an ambulance, I was kind of cautious of some of the things that were left there. Especially around the likes of the syringe container, because I really didn't want to get spiked with an old syringe that could have just got in somewhere that you wouldn't see it. And this is what I found underneath the seat. And none of it was used, of course, so it was an easy job to move it. There was a lot of parts to the ambulance that we really wanted to keep because we wanted it to be quirky, so what we didn't want we started to remove. And it's now that you find out just how well these ambulances are put together. They're built with the best materials for the job and there's nothing spared. I get this corner cleaned out and I realised that the 2 brackets that are on the floor there are in the middle of the way. So I look at them and I realise that they are completely bolted through the frame of the floor and through the chassis. It's an important part of the ambulance itself, believe it or not, because this is the part that used to hold the stretcher in place when it was in transit. So it's pretty important that it doesn't go anywhere. We wanted to retain the floor covering that was there, so I couldn't go at them from the top with an angle grinder, so I had to get underneath the chassis to remove them, and that ended up to be some job. This was another strong, well-fixed bracket that was in place for holding the stretchers. And you know, they say not to swear on YouTube, so I did all this swearing when I was doing this job myself. So when we had that corner completed and the brackets removed, we turned our attention to this corner here. This is where we wanted to put the wardrobe, and there was a part of it that we wanted to remove because we felt that we could make better use of the space that was there. We noticed too that everything that we took out of the ambulance was really heavy because of the quality of it. We were aware that when you're doing anything with a camper van conversion especially, that weight is an issue.
So that's the progress for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in and coming on our journey with us. We hope you enjoyed the video.
Yeah, and we'll do more about the camper van next week, so if you tune in for that, hopefully you will enjoy that as well. We'll go with some of the outside of it and some of the finish that was done on the inside of it, because the outside of it, guys, was a hell of a job to do and finish right.
So don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. It doesn't cost you anything.
Thanks for watching.